Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We have a start of a new build series or rebuild series, and this is pretty cool for me. This is sort of a unicorn I've been looking for the last couple of years, and finally popped up just a couple of days ago. And I went out, did a quick inspection, bid on it, and here we are. So let's kind of take a little rewind and see what we're getting. Alrighty, we're taking a little bit of a field trip here today, going to our local, well, not really local, but nearby COPART, what seems like on the other end of the state for me. We're gonna pick up something new for the channel. Getting back to our roots, actually what we started off with the intent of doing before you know what happened. So let's go see what we got. Alrighty, before we get too far into the new build, don't forget, hit that subscribe button below, like the video, comment on it, share it to your friends. Why? Because it helps the channel grow. It lets YouTube know we've got some great fun stuff over here. Now, speaking of that, this video is sponsored currently by my checkbook still. Hopefully we've reached out to a few vendors for some sponsorship for this build, for some parts, for maybe reached out to Dickies for some additional work shirts here I can get embroidered with our new branding on it. We should have some more stuff coming, some new shirts and hats on the way as well. You can pick those up yourself. But the important topic at hand here is the new build. Now, if you watched the little intro thing, you probably have an idea what it is. Can you guess? I'll give you a second. Okay, so you're currently sitting on top of the build. Let's turn you around and take a look at it. If you haven't guessed by now, it is a BMW. It is an X5. It is close to the spec I was looking for. And this is a sensible spec, I think, for a family car. I haven't done really anything to it other than get it into the garage. And outside, it looks really clean on this side. There's really no dents, there's no dings, there's no chips in the paint. There's one little I just see ding right there, which I'm really not gonna worry about. The thing I'm gonna worry about is how dirty this car is inside. The previous owner only had it for 4 months. And it's filthy. We've got some, oh, I gotta get some better lighting in here. Yeah, battery's almost dead. It's a BMW. We'll come back to the inside. So this is the D. Yep, I got the D. Why did I get the D? Well, especially now, I don't know. But long run, these engines are far less prone to a lot of the timing issues that the gasoline engines are prone to. This gets roughly 30 plus miles to the gallon stated, so on highways. So with the way I drive, I'll probably get even better on it, better than 30. You can tune these and it's got a turb ski on it. So the other BMW, we've got the 28i. It was still the same 3-liter block as everything else, but didn't have the turbo. This diesel does have the turbo, and it needs to be cleaned. It's been through a Minnesota winter. Like I said, the previous owner had it for about 4 months before he ran into something hard with it. Let's put my light inside real quick. Alrighty, if we get some of my clothes out of here from the COPART lot, you see it's dirty. In 4 months, this car has been just kind of trashed inside, and I kind of wonder what a person has to do to get it this disgusting this quickly. I'm pretty appalled. I mean, if you're buying a luxury car, come on. I mean, there's dog hair everywhere. The little million-way seat thigh support is just disgusting. The buttons are disgusting. The start button is disgusting. If we go around to the back seats, they're not as bad, but the buttons down here, again, you still can't see, I guess. I got a light. The buttons down here for the climate control have been ripped off or chewed off by a dog. I don't know. There's random stuff in here. Hey, there's a button for that. Maybe I'll put that on right now. And no, that's maybe not the right thing. I don't know. But you come around to the trunk, and it's also filthy in here. I still can't see a damn thing. So we come around to the back area here. This is all dirty in here. Whatever this was tool is missing. The actual cargo area is also disgusting. I don't get it. I don't get it. If we look in the passenger side too, I mean, that's gross and disgusting, and the steering wheel is gross. So I'm gonna be taking this whole thing apart inside. I mean, look at that, ugh. There you go. We need Larry from Ammo NYC out here. Actually, I got a whole shelf full of his products, so you can better believe we're gonna be using some of those. And little tear in the fabric here. This, I think, can be glued back on to cover it, most of it, and repaired. But just, it's a disgusting mess. Who does that to their vehicle? I mean, really? All right, I digress. It is nice. It does have the luggage rails on top, the roof rails. So unlike the other one that didn't, I can now get a luggage rack or a bike rack or something else, so we can maybe take this on some family vacations as opposed to the wife's Outback, who's creeping up in miles. This is a 2015 X5 with 112,000 miles on it, and the Carfax has multiple owners, of course, but everything has been serviced locally here in Minnesota by one of the main BMW dealerships up in the Twin Cities area. I'm down here south of the cities, and there's another large dealer here that I'll probably take it to for a once-over. But otherwise, everything has been serviced. Fluids, brakes, checkups, routine stuff. Everything you want to do, your 60,000 mile, your 80,000 mile maintenance and checks and everything has been done. So that was a big plus in my book for picking this thing up. Also, it's bigger. Our family is growing, and now the kids are starting to kick the back of my seat. So we got to change that. Get a little more legroom, a little more storage room, and the diesel, I think, is going to be nice, as will the turbo and maybe a tune. So if you've done any tuning on any of these 35Ds, please let me know below in the comments. What are our options? I know I've just quickly looked around online for tuning options, and there's probably a half dozen of them. I don't know anything about it. So if anyone's got experience, a good option, a bad option, I'm not looking to redo the exhaust system, anything like that. I'm just looking for maybe a few extra horsepower, a little more torque, a little more, or a little less lag on the turbo. And I've seen there's a few tunes that do that, but I just don't know enough about it. If it's something I should actually get and have the ECU reprogrammed, or just get a dongle to plug into my OBD2 port. So that's my dilemma at that topic for right now. Again, that'll be a topic for down the road, because we've got some other things to take care of before we go anywhere. So here's the elephant in the room. The rim is missing something. Well, it's missing part of itself too. And a tire pressure sensor, and more importantly, the rubbery stuff that goes around it. I'm assuming they slid into a curb, judging by the other 3 tires in the vehicle, which are pretty much racing slicks. That doesn't surprise me, and it just happened about 2 months ago. So winter weather, slick roads, I'm sure that's what caused it. And I guess I'm thankful I found this and was able to scoop it up. I did a little bit of searching and looking around the vehicle inspection at the COPART lot, and I did find, I'll take this off and show you later, but the control arms are damaged, and I just spotted today the strut bracket that connects to the control arms is also snapped off. So I have those parts on order, and we'll be putting those on when they show up. Also, you can see the fender is half there. The bumper is missing some parts. I mean, not much, but it's gonna get replaced. A little trim piece here. I'm really happy. The fog lights are good. I've got one of the sensors, this one may be missing, or maybe it just fell behind. I'll have to look. The sensor that goes over here is actually in the back of the pickup. I've got to go get it. We've got some wires to patch back up here. The big disappointment is the headlight. These are not cheap. Those are not cheap. New, if you're getting them from the dealer, you can find them anywhere between $2,500 and $3,000, which is a good chunk of what I actually paid for this car in total. So I'm not going that route. I'm gonna look around online a little more. I found one on eBay that got snapped up. I did run into somebody at the lot today when I was picking this up, and he said, hey, I've got a few of these around for parts cars. Give me a text, let me know what you need. So I'm certainly gonna reach out to him for some of those hard to find parts, especially the headlight. Everything else, parts-wise, looks really manageable from what I've seen so far. You know, the fender, the little fender liner, the little trim piece here, the molding around the fender, suspension parts. I don't know if I need a new CV axle yet. I don't know the boot is damaged, so hopefully I can just get a new boot and we'll be good. But look, we've got parts of those really fancy headlights hanging down here, and I know it's not even worth it to try and fix this. There's too many parts gone and broken. So, you know, if I've got to spend what I've got to spend to replace that, so be it. Compared to other damage that could have been on this thing, I think this is quite lucky. I did look and I don't see any frame damage. It looks like the control arms took the brunt of the damage. So I'm gonna take this thing apart a little more and confirm that, but so far that's what it looks like. And then of course the tire came off. Maybe it was a blowout, I don't know. But I've sort of added to this rub on the rim to get it off of the trailer and up to the garage. And thankfully the wife helped me roll it in, guide it with some plywood under it so I wouldn't damage the concrete. So that was nice. And otherwise, we're just gonna start, while we wait for parts, we're gonna clean this thing up. I'm not gonna do anything yet in the engine bay because I wanna be able to go ahead and back it out, hose it down, put some super clean on there. I'm gonna go ahead and change the oil on it, make sure the def is topped off. Yes, this does have def on it. so be it. I know everyone's got their own opinion on DEF, but there we go. Not sure if you can do a delete on it or not. I've looked, but not that hard. I really don't have a need to do a lot of modding to the engine. So the other thing that's broken I found is this hood support here, and I got to figure out the name of it or find a part number on it because I'm not having much luck at all figuring it out. We've got our engine cover here, and I did look when I was at the lot. It is good. There's nothing, it smells like oil. But under here is a couple little critter things. So I'm going to be taking the shop vac and sucking out all the critter habitat that I can find. Oh, look at that. There's my little fuel rail and injectors and all that good stuff. Wonderful. We've got the diesel pickup, but nothing in terms of family dailies that I've worked on before, so that'll be an experience for me. New air filter we're going to do, cabin air filters, just sort of go through this whole thing. Had I looked in the interior and it not looked like a dog exploded in there, I probably wouldn't have considered doing all the filters right off the bat, but I'm certainly going to take off the engine one, check it out. Looks like that has been serviced, so maybe we don't need to do it. But the cabin filter, that definitely, there's the outer filter and then there's the inner recirculating filter. I'm definitely going to check both of those because, well, I think it might need it. The Carfax did have one open recall on it just from a couple of months ago in November for the EGR cooler system that needs to be replaced. So that I'm going to go in and have that done as soon as I have 4 wheels on this thing. I'm going to get those ordered up. I've got a new replacement rim on order. And when that gets here, we'll go and grab our new tires. And you can see there is not a lot of tread left on these. And hey, look, there's a screw in there too. Hey, well, that's a good time to get rid of these tires. We got no tread, we got screws, and they're only a couple of years old, so I don't know if he's had just a really poor wear rating on them or what. So halfway through 2019, so 3 years old, I guess. Goodyear Eagles. Not sure if that's what I'm putting back on or not. So I'm going to work on starting getting this whole thing cleaned up in here. And yeah, that's just kind of be a mess. Got to put the battery charger on it. Got to go through all the configurations in here, see if I can reset everything. I already replaced the battery in the remote. That was low. Stole the one out of the other Subaru key. I do have new maps to put on it already. This one does not have the iPod dingle dongle that my current one has, which is sort of a disappointment. So we'll just see how it works for Bluetooth. And somewhere in here I should have a plug for upgrading the maps and everything else. And music import. Big sunroof, of course. That's nice to see. The nice updated iDrive system in here I'll show you once the battery's charged. And one thing I really like here is the underlighting here along the dash and all the doors. So I'll show you that too. This does have a handful of the safety features on it, like the collision avoidance, I believe, heads-up display, lane depart assist, blind spot thing. I mean, I ran the VIN on mdecoder.com and came back with all the features on it, but I don't know what half of them mean. So until we actually get out on the road with it, I'm not going to be quite certain what I have. But I do know this is pretty well spec'd out. Compared to the Unicorn I saw a couple of years ago, this is not the M package. It does not have the buttery smooth leather interior or the adaptive cruise on it. That's kind of the only thing I was missing. The wife's Outback has adaptive cruise, and that's pretty nice, but you also sort of stop paying attention sometimes. So we'll see what the blind spot monitoring and the lane departure, and see how lane departure works, because we've had some other vehicles, rentals on vacations with lane departure, and it just seems to kind of ping pong you around the lane. So we'll see if BMW's implementation is any better. But for right now, let's take off this busted old tire rim and look at the suspension parts and see what we're all going to be needing to order on top of what I've already ordered. And then we'll wrap that up here so we don't bore everybody to death, because we'll come back another probably 3-4 episodes on this for the suspension repairs, the rest of the body work. I'm really thrilled I don't have to do a lot of metal work on this because, well, these are plastic. The only big thing I have to do is paint that new fender and the bumper. And the hood, unfortunately, did take a little bit of a hit. But this can easily be bent back over, and maybe I can just kind of blend this area over here and not reshoot the entire hood. That'd be kind of a pain. But I do, like I said earlier, the exterior is not scratched up and scuffed and looked like it got run through the bristly car wash a million times. It's actually in really good shape. So hopefully once I'm able to run through it, clean it, clay it, polish it, put a ceramic coat on it, it's gonna look really good. I just can't do that to the hood until we're done with the paint on that. So anyways, let's go ahead, get the tire off. I'm gonna throw a battery charger on this thing right away because it's been sitting at the lot and it told me the battery's getting low. Also, it kind of stinks, probably because it's got the EGR recall on it, and 2, it's probably been started and stopped a handful of times at the lot in the last couple of weeks without being able to warm up and burn things off. So hopefully once we get this thing on the road and drive it around a little bit, that'll clear up. It does have almost no gas in it though, so thankfully I've got some diesel here that I didn't pay $5 a gallon for. And we'll just start ticking things off the list. Alrighty, well, before we get into this, check this out. I was poking around in this hole, and I reached behind the engine and realized, hey, there's a plug. Some hoser stole the front-facing camera out of this thing. Son of a... More stuff to get. All right, back to our topic at hand. I already had this rim off once because I was going to try and take a tire from the X3 and throw on here. And while the lug pattern is the same spacing, the hub is just a little larger on the X5, so my old X3 tire wouldn't fit on there. Whew. Makes a nice noise. Bye. The TPMS sensor is also destroyed, so well, it's only been sitting here for a few weeks, but we've already got rust on the rotors, so I guess when I replace them, I'll be getting the coated rotors. Won't be a big deal once we start driving again, but it's just what happens here in Minnesota in the wintertime. And put these back in so we don't lose them, because you know that would happen. The inner fender liner is cracked and broken up a little bit. I do want to see what one costs. I don't know if I'm going to replace it, just because if it's going to be a costly thing like 200 bucks, it's not worth it to me. As long as I can reuse some of these holes to keep things in place. but we'll see once the rest of the parts get here and everything fits in. Now, let's see if I can get you behind here at all. Let's see here. So we have our tie rod end, which if I recall in the Carfax was recently replaced. So that is good. That does not look to be bent. We have our forward control arm. There we go. This guy here is bent, I believe. More importantly, the one in the back, it shouldn't be bent like that. So that is definitely bad to be replaced. But the good news is I don't see any actual damage where they connect on the frame. I've got to go ahead and take one of these big plastic belly pans off to get at the bolts for those. But that won't be a big deal. The strut bracket down here, you can see on the control arm here, right there. There's a couple of brackets, and the strut bracket down here should bolt on there, and that is broken. One of those has been ordered, and then we have the rest of our steering stuff here looks to be intact. Our end link is good. The only thing I'm concerned about is, and it's tough to see here, I'll have to look at it when I start taking things apart, I think. But back here where the CV shaft goes into the hub, the boot is destroyed, but I have to get in there and look and see if the U-joint itself is okay or if that needs to be replaced as well. I didn't really feel any binding coming up from the shop, but it's hard to tell because I had the tire digging in the dirt, so, or the rim digging in the dirt. We're not going to know on that until I get this apart. And I'm not going to start taking everything apart here until I have more parts, because I just don't want to start losing stuff, because we know that happens. And there's really not a whole lot to do until we get some of those parts in. So do have a pretty good intro here. Let's go check that battery quick. Oh, let me see. Oh, let's grab our light again because it's still dark back here. One thing I've got to do is go through the configuration on this thing and reset. Every time you open the door, it just lights this thing up like a Christmas tree. Fan comes on for the headlights, and I assume that's because the one of them is broken. And we can hopefully fix that, but let's get this off. We'll find our battery. Well, look at all the batteries. That's neat. Wasn't quite expecting that. So this here is our main battery, and probably like Mercedes, this is going to be an accessory battery, is my best guess, because I really haven't a clue. I don't see a date on them off the top of my head, but that doesn't surprise me because it's probably tucked under this here. So I think what I'm going to do is set a charger on here, check it out, check them both out and see where we're at, and just let that do its thing overnight, and hopefully it stops yelling at us about low batteries. Okay, now we've got some light back here. Take a look at this, how dusty this is back here. I mean, excuse the shadow, but I would equate this to an old country farm truck where the dog rode in the back and the windows were down, and it's just dirty. Dirty, dirty, dirty. So, what do we know? We know I got a new project, and I'm sure I'll find more things than I'm seeing on the surface as I go through it, because that's always what happens, right? But it does start, it runs, it goes into gear smoothly, the brakes work, There's no giant noises I'm not expecting. So unless I actually get it out on the road and there's something unexpected because of this whole front end thing, you know, it should be good. We'll probably need an alignment. We will double check once we get the new control arms in, because definitely the ones turned at a 90-degree angle, that's not gonna work very well. So yeah, let me keep working around on this thing here. Get that battery charged up, start working on the inside, get the updates done, get it clean, because it's just, I feel dirty in it. It's, yeah, ugh. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap this one up here for the intro. Like I said, we're waiting on parts, waiting on cleaning, and yeah, so I think it's gonna be a fun build. It's not a classic, it's not a muscle car. It's something less than 10 years old. So that's a good thing, because it's a BMW, right? There is one blemish on the body that I missed when I was looking at it. Right here, the door was covered in snow. This was pushed in, and I see there's just a little bit of a crease here, which that's probably gonna stay there. But this, I should be able to take off the door card inside and just pop out, or even grab my PDR, grab my suction-y slide hammer and pop it out. That should be pretty easy to do. This is just some scuffing here. That'll get cleaned off. But I think once that's popped out, and I didn't even notice it until I was staring right at it eye level today. So the badging is fine. Everything else looks good. A little rub right here. But again, you know what? It's not a brand new car. It's got a salvage title. And when I'm done, it'll have a prior salvage title, or rebuilt, depending on how your state considers them. Minnesota gives them a prior salvage. So we'll just wrap it up here, come back, probably with a cleaning melee of stuff, since I know parts are gonna be challenging to get, especially that headlight, and waiting on the other parts. I mean, I ordered the rim, and I don't quite have an ETA on when it's shipping yet, so it could be 2 days, it could be 2 weeks. So we'll do what we can with what we've got, and just keep moving on forward. So again, hope you've liked this video. It's new. We're kind of off the old stuff for a little while anyways. And that being said, I brought this project in, so we've got a couple of cars to get rid of. Our red X3, that's gonna be sold and gone away. Wrapping up the painting on the Fiesta, that's also gonna go away. So hopefully this is gonna be almost a net zero project. I know I'll have a little bit into it especially since the headlight deal here and now that camera. I'm not including things like tires in this, because that's a general maintenance you're gonna do on your vehicle anyway, oil changes, stuff like that. My goal is just looking at what I'm putting into the vehicle for the actual repairs related to the damage to get it streetable again. So like I said, anything else like the oil, the battery, the tires, those are general maintenance, and I'm not gonna lump that into the rebuild cost associated with it. So that's where we're sitting, and until the next video on this, hopefully soon, get this hopefully done and cranked out in short order. And by that time, hopefully we'll be back down in our shop for some warmer weather and finishing up the metalwork on the Challenger, assuming we ever get the rest of the sheet metal in for us. We've got the roof to swap out. A lot of work to do down there yet on that car, and of course the 52. We've got one more project waiting in the wings I haven't even touched yet. So yeah, lots to come after this. So don't forget, like I said, subscribe, like, comment below, especially on that tuning stuff. What would you do for a tune on this thing? And if you know where I can get one of those front-facing cameras that's not like $5 grand, I have no clue how much they cost. But let me know, and we'll see you in the next video. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.